So this is Master Teresa. A Qigong master means someone that do energy work called Qigong. And I have been doing this 24 years. And I learned from the #1 Qigong master of China, ranked nationally by China. And it's referred to the talent bank of China. So it's considered a Chinese national treasure. He also got another title to select Qigong master for the National Bank, which is really top of the country. Back that is in 1995. So I also have written 4 books. 3 of them are #1 international bestseller to France, to US, to whatever, I forgot where it is. Anyways, there's 3 of them. I'm so grateful for John bringing the Qigong to his people, and then Antonina, to have the time to listen to her is really awesome. Then when I started Qigong, that is 24 years ago, I actually have horrible health. I have migraine headache, just even go outside in the sun. I have digestion problem, constipation, diarrhea, menstrual problem, aches and pain all over, joint problem. I see chiropractic work 2 to 3 times a week for 10 years. I also take herbal medicine for 10 years. And the list really went really long before I actually started doing Qigong. So when I was just starting doing Qigong, I actually might say I have a temperature or a flu every month. If it's not me, it's my children. So I was mother of 3 at the time. They were 4, 5, and 9, right? My eldest daughter also have asthma. So because they're taking just the usual thing, right? Antibiotics and that kind of thing. Because of the children and myself, right? Not getting better with the Western drug. That's all my family knows. That's when I start exploring herbal medicine. And then I've taken herbal medicine for 10 years, Chinese herbs, before I actually do Qigong. So the herbal medicine works, but it never raised my root problem. My root energy was so weak because I had tuberculosis. I threw up blood when I was 20 years old. I'm actually going to 63 years old in a few more months. So the journey is really understanding how difficult it is to come back to be a healthy person. It is not an easy journey at all. So if you have great health now, fantastic. So if you're not good, I just say fantastic too, because you have the tools Antonio is giving you, and then you have a chance to explore Qigong with me. Fine. And the first thing I like to help people is, with all the news going on in the society, really, it's good to know, but it's difficult to read. It doesn't feel good after you read them, but we want to know too. So that is the difficult part, right? So basically people are doing it more than 30 days, 60 days. China is from December, right? Wow, it's a few months, right? So when you see things all the time, repeatedly, every day, for over usually 21, 30 days, you are actually forming a belief system inside you to be very concerned about that topic, right? So if it's good, then it's good. But if it's not good, then it's not good too. So the difficult part is we are not want to learn how to be fearful or worrisome, but that's what they're teaching you every day. So now, so we actually, people have already formed very deep connection with fear right now. So, but we still want to read them, right? So the way we first want to know is, as we know, immunity wears down when we're stressful and that, right? Job, finance, relationship, children, parent, wow, the list goes on, right? So when you read difficult things, well, first don't read so much, right? If you really only read once a day, that's it. Once a day is too much already. Read once a few days. That's actually better. You're breaking the pattern, right? And then when you read it, you have to be calm and peaceful when you read it. So you also can practice some Qigong before you read it. So you have to change your vibration before you read them. One thing very easy could be breathe in, 1, 2, breathe out, 1, 2, 3. No, so this is the way it should be done. Breathe in, 1, 2, breathe out, 1, 2, 3. This is how your breath should slow down when you read material. So when you slow down your breath, when you're reading it, then you won't be get more and more worrisome when you go. You know, when you worry, your energy becomes like this, like this, right? Oh, it's like all this feeling. So you have to slow down. So Qigong is really amazing because it's not that it slows you down through the breath work. It actually gives you a very strong vibration that raises you to a higher feeling of joy and peaceful and calmness, right? No, so this is the concept. So what Qigong really healing is changing you from feeling like this to feeling this. And we are also experience the confidence to ourselves because we actually know we can heal ourselves. So once you know you can heal yourself, it's okay, I'll practice Qigong if I'm not well, so you won't feel as worrisome. So it's a tool to yourself. So I'd like today to show you a couple movements to do. And I also want to show you to do some experiment with you that we can actually release some difficult things like aches and pain in the body. So I will show you something, and then after that we will zero in and see if we focus the mind together. I send you some healing. See if you can release some problem right now. So when you see that I can help you to do something like that, right? And what with the right nutrition, you know, a different medicine, and that will be a good toolbox to have. No. So instead of sitting, we're gonna stand for a change. Okay. Just head relax. And then think about neck relax. Shoulder relax. Chest relax. Abdomen relax. The whole back relax. Arms relax. Legs relax. So you slow down like gradually. So the first round you might feel not very relaxed. So head, think about your head, relax. My neck, relax. Relax means loosen up, soften up. Shoulder, relax. Chest, relax. So your mind on your chest, mind on your abdomen, relax. Your whole back, relax. Arms relax, hands relax, legs relax. So you can practice how to relax and slow down your breath by yourself. I also have a lot of YouTube videos. Now, say now because of the coronavirus, people worry about the lungs. So we'll do something for you with the lungs, really simple to do. So one is to put a finger by your nose side. We press and let go. This is how help stimulate the acupuncture by the nose. So you can do more as you have time, right? So we can also stroke the nose up and down. Now stroke the nose up and down is like this. Yeah. The nose is actually very powerful. Nose breathing will create a nitric oxide, which is the gas the body needs for immunity. You can research on that. So right now in Massachusetts, they are having 500 health professionals using a nitric oxide gas to see if they can have better immunity with the coronavirus. So the natural, this natural gas is created by the nose. So when you do nose breathing, all this sinus area will create the nitric oxide. So you can also get it from the food, right? So now say this is how it feels. Okay, so we bring the hand up, bring the hand down. Breathe in, breathe out. So you can do it very slow. If it's myself, then I'll be doing this slow. So for you, maybe like this will be okay. Because it's, you have to learn to slow down. So when you speak faster and faster because your mind is so amazingly, have so much information to give out. That's why we talk fast, right? But talking fast means we are in the fight and flight mode. And then that is just fine. We're excited with things we want to share. It's beautiful. And I also tend to speak very fast when I'm very excited about something I want to express. Well, I just know, oh, Teresa, you're talking too fast. It's not good for your immunity. So when I do my Qigong, then I will slow down. Now, this is fast for me. Breathe in. This is actually good for the heart and lung meridian. It's also help you to shifting the weight, good for your joints. So all your meridians of the body are moving. So we can also exchange legs. Okay, beautiful. Just enjoy. So it's slow down. It's all about slowing down. Breathe in. 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 Say I breathe in. Open arms. Close arms. This is to open the energy of the arms and lungs together. So the heart meridians is actually in the hand, just running up. So they are just going up. So the heart next to the lung, they are really good friends. When you take a breath in, so the energy support the heart. That's why they're so close together. So now you're doing the brothers help. Breathe in. Breathe in. In. Yeah, that's right. So do at least 30 times and more, right? This is very powerful. I like to do the Qigong in a modern way, so it's easy to do. It's not difficult to remember. The one too complicated, talking too much about meridians, I don't talk about them because it's just confusing. So we just want to improve health a little bit. So we're not trying to be a genius about moving energy. Just want to feel better. Okay, now. So we have the finger, and then this is where it is, around the bottom of the neck. So there's an acupoint there actually. Now, so we open the arms. You see the wings, okay. Breathe in. So we open really wide, and then we can actually really close, breathe in. So a good exercise. So you might even cough, which is good. You cough the negative energy out. Nose breathing. See, let's relax. Now, so you can do as many times as you want. It can be a very morning practice. Just take care of your lungs, world peace, really. A lot of women come to me when they have breast cancer. And then the learning from it is they really have very difficult emotional life. They're not happy. For maybe all their life, they're not happy. So I clean them, and there are people recover too, right? But it all to me it's all about emotions, because I see and sense energy. I see the energy just coming out from the breast. My goodness, they're really that emotional about what happened to their life. So sometimes I don't want to be too crazy, but I actually do clean past life too. They're not even this life. No. Okay. Now. Okay, so we do some exercise, treat Qigong like a slow exercise. So it's like a yoga practice, but slower, but we never push it to the limit, right? We don't like this. We also bring the energy back a little bit. So this is a book, Energy Medicine, Scientific Basis, written by scientists. So they talk about visualization. Okay. Yeah. So on the top is the world, you visualize, you think. And then when you think about energy, then it gets attracted to your brain. Then your brain waves start acting up. And then if you think about the energy can go to the hand, then to heal something, that's why there's the arrow at the bottom. And then this has been measured to work with research.
It is very often we'll see that we are touted and we are told that allopathic MD directed medicine is the only way. And I would always, I guess my goal is to always remind people that is one of many ways. We do need allopathic medical care and hospitals for, for conditions, for emergency conditions, for problems like that. But we need to understand the power and the value of using preventative approach, holistic approach in all other cases. And you can't do well as an individual if you're relying on one of many modalities. You have to understand a big scope of things. So from preventative healthcare perspective, I'm very passionate about educating people on how their body works, on the fact that they have incredible potential at self-healing if they provide the body with all the right tools. So I have studied nutrition out of personal need. I was in the finance corporate world for 10 years. I was managing 6 provinces and 1,200 corporate clients in Western Canada. I was exhausted mentally, physically, emotionally. I ran my health to the ground, digestive, skin, immunity, even mental health started suffering. I had anxiety because I wasn't sleeping enough and I was overly stressed. And last time I went to the doctor was about over 10 years ago. I don't remember the exact year, I have to double check, but it was over 10 years ago, and where I had severe migraines, I had digestive issues, and I was, I'd always go to the doctor at the very last resort. I was trying to do everything I could. Nothing was helping. I didn't know, at that time I wasn't knowledgeable enough. I went to the doctor, and the only option, I was there for 5 minutes, and the only advice I was given is take Tylenol 3. So with a very basic understanding that I had, I grew up in, I think Stephanie and Sophia shared with us, they grew up in the holistic environment. And I think for those of us who brought up in families who are very conscious, mother and fathers who are, open to traditional medicine, whether it's Western or Eastern, or understanding of herbology, acupuncture, traditional Chinese medicine, all of this Ayurveda, Qigong, all of this wonderful modalities, and they understand that nature always comes first, and the very last resort we should use drugs, surgery, or whatever else. We're very lucky to be in that kind of environment. So I had that understanding. My mom would take me to the doctors as a last resort. We were always using cupping, tinctures, food and everything else, to natural doctors to do things, and if need be. And so I knew that Tylenol is not going to be a problem. It's going to shut down the receptors. It's going to shut down my body's communication and cry for help. So if I have a pain, if any one of you has a pain, and the body has enough energy to tell you something is going wrong. So I want to give you a bit of an understanding for my personal approach to this. A lot of times people are saying, well, and it happens especially in the male community, with macho and, ego and whatever else, like nothing takes me, I can eat whatever I want, I can do whatever I want. And then something happens at 40 or 50, and they're just like, well, I thought I was healthy, and then this happened. When the body, and for those of you who are sensitive, every time I drink coffee, my health expectations go through the roof. Or every time I take a drug, I have a side effect and I experience it. Every time I eat junk food, I have congestion. You are actually lucky, because what it says, I know it's uncomfortable, I know you wish you were less sensitive, but what it actually shows that your body has enough energy and vitality and ability to speak to you. It's telling you something is wrong. It has more vitality than those bodies that are actually unable to communicate. So I strongly, it's actually a good thing to be sensitive and aware, because you're more aware and connected to your body, and that means you're more likely to take a correct action. So personally, I was very sensitive as a child, as an adult, as a young adult, and in my 30s. And so the life has pushed me to investigate outside of medical allopathic approach. So I'm glad I had an open mind in understanding drugs is not an only option. I always have a saying that I share with my clients, or when I do public talks, and I say, what happens if we give a medication to a healthy person? So let's say I'm a completely healthy individual, and somebody convinced me to take a drug, and I start taking it every day in large amounts. What we know, that every medication, for it to be a patented medication, it might have a natural substance to it, but a lot of it, for patented purposes, it has to have a synthetic component. And what we know, whenever we use synthetic chemistry, the body doesn't recognize it. We can upregulate or downregulate something, but there will be side effects. So you all know that most drugs have side effects. And so if I, as a healthy individual, start taking drugs in large amounts, I will start experience sickness, side effects, and bad reactions, because that's what's written on the label. So why would we think the healthy person will only experience a lot of negative side effects from medications? Not only, but that would be a major aspect. Why would we think that giving a medication to a sick person will be any different? Yes, we can shut down certain pain. We can upregulate, downregulate something, and it's okay for acute treatment for use in a short period of time, but we shouldn't rely on drugs for a long period, because there's going to be a lot of side effects. There's going to be a lot of issues that are going to cause a lot of detrimental effect for a healthy person, but especially for a person that has a medical condition. So when I talk about medical issues, anybody who has any kind of diagnosis, we can actually, there is 12,500 different diseases that we have names for this day and age. And I will tell you, every year, every month, and every day, they're inventing new names and new diseases keep adding. So 12,500 now. In 3 years, it's going to be 13,000. There's going to be 14 and 15. They keep on adding names. And whenever they say in syndrome, they're pretty much admitting, well, we don't know what it is. We're just going to call it a syndrome. Or we don't know what it is. We're just going to call it this. And so all of those names, they work fantastic for the allopathic approach, because you have a condition name and then you prescribe a medication. Problem, solution, problem, solution. But is it a real solution? Have we looked into all solutions available? And I'll tell you, there are two major reasons for why we're sick, no matter what you're dealing with, whether we're talking about immune-compromised immunity, cardiovascular, digestive, skin, brain chemistry. There are two main reasons for why any organ, tissue, or cell dysfunctions. First one is that we have toxicity. Things that do not belong in the body occupy our bodily cell tissue, organs, congest our receptors, our tissues, our cells, and our organs. So we are toxic in things that don't belong. It could be heavy metals from our pots and pans that are low quality. It could be heavy metals from drinking water. It could be heavy metals from the air that we breathe in. It could be heavy metals from the medications and procedures that we inflict on ourselves. It could be so many different things. It could be pathogens, viruses, bacteria, external, like any kind of organism that are invaders and then leaching off and opportunistic. It could be pesticides, herbicides, larvicides, fungicides, hundreds of different chemicals that are used in our day-to-day agriculture that then we unfortunately have exposure to, and we're going to suffer from. So we get chemicals from the air, from our food, from our water, and so when they pile up in the tissues, they dysregulate, and they don't belong there. They dysregulate cellular function. They dysregulate cellular communication, metabolic function, energy production. When that happens, guess what? There's going to be an issue. There's going to be a symptom. There's going to be accumulation problem, and there's going to be a condition. So that's number one. We are toxic in substances that don't belong in our body. So we need to reduce toxicity. We need to clean our air, or at least, live somewhere is to the best of our ability to where we have a cleaner air. Maybe we need to put a air purifier. Maybe we need to, air out our apartments from all of the toxins that accumulated and exuded from our paints and carpets and our whatever else, all these different fumes that come in, toxic fumes that are from a toxic, things that we use internally, or that our furniture is made from. So we want to get a lot of fresh air in our environment. We want to get clean air. We want to get outside and get fresh air. We want to clean our, whatever you're consuming as the water. If many of you know that I'm very passionate about a Japanese medical device that I use at home and in my practice for water. I make sure that my water is filtered. I make sure that my water is disinfected from chemicals and pesticides, herbicides, larvicides, and heavy metals from the pipes. I also want to make sure that it has therapeutic function of hydrogen and alkalinity and everything else. So we want as cleanest water we possibly can. So I don't want any toxicity coming through what I'm drinking. I don't want toxicity in anything I'm eating. I don't want my food to have pesticides, herbicides, larvicides. I want to get as clean as organic. I want to grow my food if I can. If I cannot, I want to go to farmer's market and buy the highest quality produce that is least tampered with. I want to eat from, a branch or a bush or a plant. I don't want to eat from the manufacturing plant. I want to eat things that are created by nature because they are biochemically compatible with my body physiology. my body can understand what's been designed by nature. If it's been processed or tinkered with, my body is going to be in shock and is going to have to spend a lot of energy. So I also can clean my food with different modalities, especially like degreasers like 11.5 and other different types of waters and elements that are cleaning my food. So I have control over what I'm breathing, of what I'm eating, and what I'm drinking, to the extent that I have the power to. So I'll do the best thing I can. So, and then we toxic, so we want to reduce toxicity, food, air, water. Then we want to, for guys, for drinking things, what's the most effective from a nutritional perspective, I always say drink clean, antioxidant, and alkaline water. Consume freshly pressed vegetables and fruit juices, freshly pressed. I'm not talking about anything packaged. Stay away from soda, carbon dioxide, sugars that are processed sugars, GMO sugars, colorings, ingredients, preservatives. They are all immunocompromising. If we're talking about COVID, we want to reduce any immunocompromising substances. So don't drink soda. Reduce dairy. Dairy is not what it used to be 30, 50 years ago. Dairy in North America is highly pasteurized, is highly processed, is toxic because of how our animals treated and what they're fed, the hormones, the pesticides, the GMOs, the whatever, the processing of milk, the homogenation, the extraction of all the good stuff and disinfecting of that milk kills all the good stuff in it, and unfortunately makes it absolutely inert. A lot of people, especially if you have an Asian genetic descending, you are going to have a much lesser ability to properly process that. And we're supposed to have milk of the same species we are born to. So we're supposed to consume milk from our mother. That's not the dairy milk. The dairy milk is for cows. The goat milk is for goat babies. The giraffe's milk is for giraffe babies. The dog milk is for dog babies, for pups. And human milk is for human consumption. So when you're born as a little baby, hopefully natural birth, to the best of the ability of the mother, hopefully colostrum consumption, that the inoculation number one. The inoculation, I always say about immunity, the three most important things of our immunity that's set from childhood. You want a healthy mother with a healthy immune system. You want the baby passing through the birth canal, acquiring good microbiome as the baby's coming through, good multi-generational inoculation of 35,000 different bacterial species, of which are very positive immune stimulating species. So the baby acquires that passing through the birth canal. Then when they're born, they're connected to the mother's breast. There's going to be colostrum for a couple of days. The colostrum is very powerful in all of the immune substances and all of the very complex immune cells, and genetic information for the baby to continue with that inoculation number 2. Inoculation number 3 is using breast milk. When the baby is attached to the mother's breast, there is a receptors. There is a reason why women's breast is so sensitive, because the baby is communicating through saliva to the mother's breast tissue, and there's a lot of receptors and communication going back and forth. So if the baby is susceptible to something, or the baby needs something through genetic material and saliva, the baby is going to tell the mother's body. We don't even have to think about it. The mother's body gets an information of what kind of milk it has to produce any day in time. So that is, nature is built beautifully. That's your immune system. So breastfeed our babies for a year or 2. Then we want to eat healthy substances that feed our body microbiome. Again, you have 35,000 different species living in your GI tract, and the immune cells in the lymphatic system and other parts of the body, we want to feed them. We want to provide them with good nutrition. If we eat junk, we're feeding the bad guys, parasitical bacteria, candidas, small intestinal overgrowth bacteria, different dysbiosis type of problems. We're feeding bad bacteria if we're eating garbage. If we're eating good stuff, we are feeding our immune system with all the most best molecules. And we're allowing the good guys to be high in numbers, and to any pathogen, COVID or not, any pathogen, because COVID, if you guys look at genetic studies and genetic expression and all the sequence that we look at, it's very similar to a whole list of different other pathogens and viruses that we've been exposed to society for multi-generations. And it's constantly mutating. So COVID has multiple mutated forms, and many of us have already gone through it. Maybe have already experienced and the body has already dealt with. So many of us could have immune system, or we could be silently experiencing. But we have to rely on our immune system to gain natural immunity for the rest of our life through exposure. And we want to provide the immune system with all of the tools, with vitamin D, with hydration, with good food, with all the nutrients. So when we are sick, we are toxic, and we are deficient in what the body needs to work with. How do we get deficient? Well, a lot of us eat empty food that's nutritionally void. It's been microwaved, it's been processed with chemicals, deep fried, overcooked. It's been destroyed. All the nutrition factors have been destroyed, so we're not receiving them. So we are deficient. And anytime you're subjecting your body on you eating, anything you're eating becomes a biochemical reaction in the body. If you're to consume something that is toxic, the body's going to have to use its own nutritional storage to neutralize it and to detox. So if you eat something toxic, you're not giving the body the tools. You're not eating something that can help the body with your immune system, with day-to-day function, with regeneration. You're only consuming things that are causing more and more stress and more damage. Okay? So we want to get rid of toxicity or reduce toxic load to the best of our ability in any way we can. And then we want to consume nutrient-dense foods. And in today's world, we want to consume supplements because our food is void and because our usage of nutrients is much greater than our ancestors have to ever incur. So people are saying that, well, supplements are just a waste. They're not. There's bad supplements that are sold in conventional stores, and there are a lot of synthetic, non-properly processed, not properly designed supplements. And then there's high quality therapeutic elements. When we're talking about supplements, we're talking about high quality nutritional elements without toxic binders, fillers, anti-caking ingredients. And when you use nutrition from which your body is made from, you can help the body heal itself. So supplements are important in today's world because we don't get enough sunshine in Canada. We just don't. The altitude in which we're located, we don't get a good angle. We don't get enough sun exposure, enough sunny days. And then when we do, we're covered. We're covered with clothing. We are covering with sunglasses. You observe and synthesize a lot of vitamin D through exposure of UV light through our eyes. Retina is absorbing and synthesizing vitamin D, which is actually a hormone. When the sun exposure gets on the clean skin with natural oils, there's a 7-stage reaction that happens and where that's converted to vitamin D inside of the body, hormone D. So when we cover our eyes, when we cover our body, we don't get enough exposure. We are sun beings. We should overdo it, but we need to do it in reasonable amount so the body gets a very important vitamin hormone D for its immune system. Vitamin D, every cell in the body has hundreds and not thousands of receptors for vitamin D receptors. The body needs vitamin D. It's a very good immune stimulating and upregulating substance. It's a very strong antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial immune support. It's very important for hormone function, brain function, happiness hormone, that's what we call it. So we want to get exposure to that. So if we don't get exposure to vitamin D, take supplementation. Vitamin C, we destroy vitamin C in our diet. Any heating, any processing our food destroys it. Could we use some extra therapeutic amount? If the animal gets sick, they produce vitamin C. Humans lost the ability, genetic ability to synthesize vitamin C from glucose, from sugars. We've lost one of the enzymes that is able to convert vitamin C to the vitamin C at the very late stage of glucose metabolism. And so we're not producing vitamin C. So we need to get it externally. If a cow gets sick, it's going to produce 200 milligrams of vitamin C and help the body heal. We cannot. We need to take it from external sources. So vitamin C in therapeutic amounts will be very effective antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial that we have ever seen. And there is studies, the medical system's not telling us about it because vitamin C is cheap and not patented. They cannot make billions and quadrillions of dollars like they can on drugs. So you have to understand the power of vitamin C. For those of you who are very interested, Google, YouTube, Dr. Thomas Levy, Levy, on, he has a really fantastic talk with all of the science presented. There's many other doctors, but this is just to start you. And he will show you how there is absolutely no pathogen, virus, or microbe and any kind of bacteria that we have found to date that cannot be taken care of or neutralized or killed by vitamin C. It all depends on the dose you use. So you can take a little bit of vitamin C and it's not going to do much. You just haven't taken sufficient amount. And there's different protocols for different treatments, but you have to keep an open mind and understand in the right dose, at the right time, with the right patient, there is phenomenal tools and results, and there are tens of thousands of studies. Just like there's vitamin D, 37,000 studies. The doctor is going to tell you, oh, it's quackery, forget about it. You probably just read it on the web. They just don't know because they don't look at nutritional studies. They don't look at nutritional research. The medical boards and the pharmaceutically hijacked industry is not teaching them about molecules that have no patents. They're not going to tell you about, if you go to a Mercedes dealership, they're not going to tell you about, Lexuses. They're not going to tell you about Porsches. When you go to a medical doctor, they're not going to tell you about substances and molecules that have been studied for tens of years and have thousands of studies. They're going to sell you on the drug because that's what they're trained on. And it might only have 5 studies on it, but they're going to tell you that the vitamin D that has 37,000 studies, they're going to tell you it's quackery. So you have to understand there is a conflict of interest. You are the powerful, you're responsible for your life. It's not rocket science. It is, in the age of information, ignorance is a choice. So we have to become more critically thinking, more critically assessing the situation, and look at all the options and understand the power of vitamin D, vitamin C. Zinc is fantastic for nutrition, amazing for immune system, for insulin production, for sugar management, for GI repair from celiac, IBS, IBD, for immune system upregulation, for enzymatic capacity in your body to digest things, and immune system. We see all the things that are very helpful right now with COVID. They are helping the body to assimilate zinc or upregulate zinc. So let's take zinc in high quality. Let's take vitamin A, very antiviral, antifungal. Let's take all of these things. So get the highest quality water, get the highest quality nutrients, get the food that's not processed, not tampered with, nutrient rich, phytonutrient rich, that the body can understand. And you'll do amazingly. Get away from molds, from funguses, from parasites, from, to the best of your ability, disinfect your home, disinfect your food. There's phenomenal tools out there to do that, but also understand the power of our body learning from exposure to pathogens, viruses, bacteria. We are not sterile. We have trillions of cells, and we have billions of different, they say that with trillions of cells, we have more bacterial DNA in our body than we have human DNA. We have more bacteria in the mouth in the morning than we have people on the planet. So we are not sterile like it was said or believed, and like Pasteur said. If we were sterile, we'll be dead. We are synergistic organisms with other life forms. What we want to make sure that other life forms are not negative or opportunistic, that they are synergistic with our function and they help us be healthy. So we want probiotics. We want to have good foods that allow for prebiotic power and probiotic power. We want to add nutrients that are going to help them keep our immune system strong. And we want to keep clean food and clean water. I don't know how long I've been talking. I wonder if there's any questions, any comments.
Well, before I open it to everyone, I mean, it's absolutely true, because the other day when I bought some something for breakfast. So I bought some strawberries. I bought some grapes. So the grapes, there's a lot of pesticides in there. I came up to the, I mean, as you know, I wash my water with 11.5, but looking at some of these vegetables and fruits, you could see that there's pesticides and germicides on there. I nearly threw up, talked to the manager about it, right? Just in person, but it's so true, because now that I'm a bit more cautious with my food and how just washing it, right? But no, so you're saying to us that the food, the water, and lifestyle has a lot of things to do with it, and be more mindful of what I intake. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I think it's a very, very important point. There's so much when we go to conventional stores, even if organic food is tainted very, very often because it's been treated when it comes through the borders and things like that. Or again, we have to investigate and make sure that it's really hard to keep, there are people working really hard because there's a huge attack on organic industry. Unfortunately, it is sad that we have to label clean food and we don't label dirty food. I think it's the dirty food that's sprayed with chemicals 10 to 15 times through growing cycle with all the petrochemicals, cancer-causing chemicals. That is the food that should be labeled. Oh, by the way, except for strawberries, you also have all of these different cancer-causing chemicals. That food doesn't require labeling, but the clean, organically grown food does. And it's really sad because that clean food without chemicals costs more than that food that's not. So, and there's people and there's corporations trying to compromise the quality of food and tell people that organic doesn't matter. Guys, organic is what your grandparents used to eat. It was all organic.
Right. That's
and
correct.
So clean food, right? So when we go to a lot of stores today, John, you're right, like we're exposed to this food that has all of these layers of petroleum chemicals on it. How do we get it off? If you come and you're trying to wash it in the tap water, you get another chemicals in there. Like, chlorine absorbs through milliseconds into more water, and it doesn't take away that oily pesticide residue. So having tools to do that is really important. So you want to soak and detox your food with emulsifier like 11.5, or some people do, it's not very effective, but some people do like, the, what do you call it? The vinegar and all this other washing. So there's lots of different ways to clean, and make sure that you buy as clean of a food you possibly can, and then clean your food from any residue, and then consume. It's, you're 75% of what you drink. The other 25% is food. You want to make sure that you consume the highest nutrient dense food to give the body ability to work with all the stressors, but also not to waste energy on detoxifying from all the chemicals. Because if you're consuming chemicals, people say, well, I don't eat too much, but I'm still gaining weight. Or or I'm careful, but then if you're eating chemicals and the body doesn't have the tools to eliminate them, the body will store them in the fat tissue. And it will keep and build it around there, because the body wants to protect your vital organs. So think about midsection. People gain a lot of weight in the midsection. What happens if the chemicals come in and our body doesn't have minerals, vitamins, phytonutrients, and the good bacteria to detoxify it, or too much coming in and it can only detoxify so much? Whatever the body can detoxify, it will store in the fat, because it will isolate those toxins from toxins causing damage to liver, to kidneys, to pancreas, to all of our body. So the body will keep storing in the fat tissue. And so when we look at people doing liposuction, and when we study that fat, when they look at that fat, 80% plus of that fat is chemicals. The only reason body is accumulating fat is because it does the best next thing it can to neutralize, or it's kind of like the wire, right? What's going to happen if it didn't have the casing? What didn't happen if it didn't have the cover? It will zap me. So it protects. So the same happens with the fat tissue. Will protect the body from those free radical acting molecules and toxins, because the body doesn't want it to damage your liver, your kidneys, your important tissues, your lungs. So the body will encapsulate it in fat, and people are gaining weight. They might not be eating much, but they're eating the wrong things for their constitution, for their body. They're eating toxic foods. They're not cleaning their foods properly. And so the body has no ability to get rid of it. It'll keep, even if they're eating little, they keep accumulating toxicity. So great point. Absolutely, John.
So there's a question here right now, just from
Yeah.
Genevieve. Hi, how can we, question is there any brand for vitamins that you can recommend, like for suggestions that you have? She just
Yeah.
put it down over here.
So I want to be transparent and be very just the conflict of interest or anything like that. I work with the company. It's a Canadian company, AOR. You guys probably have seen it in nutritional stores. It's a high quality brand. It's available in, it's not the cheapest version. So I just want to be clean and clear and tell you that I have a bias, you could say. But I will also tell you that I've used those products. I only work with them as a medical advisor in Vancouver and Kelowna region, Okanagan area. So what it means is I work with doctors and educating and managing their accounts and whatever else. I don't work with public. I'm not selling you anything. I'm not making anything from you buying it in stores. So, but I just wanted to be open and clear. So I work with them as a medical advisor, but I have used their product when I was in practice, for example, right? So I've used it. I always bought it as a professional and stocked my shelves for practice, and I always recommended them to my clients. Now I work inside of the company because I love the quality. So that's one of many companies that I love. So depending on what nutrient. So there's a company that I love for a multi. That I don't have any conflict of interest, but I always recommend and take myself for an incredible multivitamin, and that will be EMP, Empower Plus, by True Hope. The company is called True Hope. The product is called EMP, one of my favorite multis, strongly recommended. It's widely used for psychiatric help, support. It's great for mental health. I use it as an overall broad spectrum nutrient formula. It's a good multi. That is very effective and very easy to assimilate and very effective. I use it for cognitive function, but I also use it in people that have, I personally just use it for, it's kind of like being limitless, right? It's being the best self you possibly can. So I use it as for better cognitive function. I don't have a mental health condition, but I love it as a multi. And I recommend it to others. If somebody has anxiety, depression, OCD, ADHD, there's lots of protocols and phenomenal. Bipolar, this is used as well, and it's very effective. We just use a different dosage. So there are some brands that produce fantastic probiotics. Like I love and different tinctures. Some products are really good at herbs. There's Harmonic Arts, a really great company that uses wild harvested herbs for a lot of and tinctures and everything. I love that company, Harmonic Arts. I love, what's that other company? You just skip my mind. Oh gosh.
That's okay.
Yeah, so if you guys, by the way, whoever invited you here, if you have any specific, you could always message me find me on Facebook or Instagram. On Facebook, I'm at the limit for the long time. So unless they kick someone out, you can always, I think, contact me through Messenger, or you can go to Instagram. Antonina.ca is my Instagram, and you can message me there. We can become friends. So if you have questions too, specifically you're looking for a probiotic formula, I can tell you where there's 3 brands that I like and I see effective, or I like cycling them. I'd like this brand for initial antifungal, antiviral ability, and then repopulation environment. So I like cycling people different things because they have different benefits. Like if, vitamin D is good from this brand, vitamin C is from that one. So I'll be able to give you a little bit more guidance in what specific amount you might want to consider if you're working with something. So great question. Thank you.
Everything's on your information is actually on Facebook invite, but it's also in the event, so you can get a hold of her, and her website is on there. But if anybody, the floor is open right now, who wants to ask a question, you can ask her personally. But if you guys have any questions right now, please do so.
You know what I should say, John? Thank you. You know what I should say? So guys, if you want to optimize your ability now, and make sure that you don't, that you have the most optimal preventative approach to whatever's going on externally. So I wanted to remind everyone, every way We have, yes, the essential oils are fantastic. Somebody has some questions about essential oils. They're fantastic, antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial. Balms are incredible. So just always look into high quality, good raw materials. So the company has to be very respectable and look into the quality of raw materials and proper combinations. So there are salves, there are oils, there are internal and external applications. So I do love essential oils as a part of holistic lifestyle. You would want to have your medicine cabinet that's built out of a lot of nutrients. You want to have a clean, good fridge in the pantry. You want to have a clean, wonderful nutritional supplement cupboard. You want to have your essential oils that you can diffuse, that you can apply. All of this is a whole holistic approach. You want to have a good meditative practice, Qigong practice, whatever that is, because your body will be able to deal with something more effectively. So you'll get through it faster.
Amazing. Awesome. Any other questions that you might want to ask? If not privately, just to let you know before we make an announcement.
You guys are a great audience.
But I do hope that you guys, that was a lot of information. I hope you guys like what you had to say, because, you know, we're going to be doing, just to let you know, we're going to be doing a series on not just on nutrition, but also on hydration, because there's not too many, trust me, I've met quite a number of holistic nutritionists and medical doctors. When it comes to nutrition, they're so out of it, right? But it's so true, because I know quite a number of them. But if you have any questions, do message Antonina, and